After covering my eyebrows, I applied 2 prosthetic transfers. And when you're placing transfers, you always want to consider where you place them. Areas of high movement on the face, such as your laugh lines, are not ideal because movement will loosen the transfers. If you aren't familiar with these, they basically apply like a fake tattoo. You peel off the top layer, stick it to the skin, apply water to the back of the paper, and then pull the paper off, and you have a nice gnarly wound. This one in particular wasn't super fresh, so I had a little bit of an issue removing the paper, but if that happens, just be patient. Once applied, I used a dampened Q-tip to blend down the edges, and I dampened that Q-tip with alcohol. And I like to use a rolling motion, and I roll downwards from the prosthetic to help blend those edges. I went ahead and concealed the eyebrows and powdered, lots of powder. And while I have that powder handy, I'm going to go ahead and apply it to the edges of the transfer. And through the power of editing, I have another one on my cheek. Now this paint job is very much a layering process, and I started off with a base layer of a cream makeup. And I mixed this taupe color using white, brown, black with a hint of yellow. I mixed up a contour color using those same colors and applied that to the areas of my face that I wanted to recede. You really want to think about the anatomy of the bones underneath the skin, and you want to hollow out wherever there aren't bones. Next, I powdered my face and neck. All the cream makeups need to be powdered, and I know this is a Reaper tutorial and we're not supposed to fear the Reaper, but we're also not supposed to fear the powder in this one. More powder! On to layer number 2 of contour. This time I'm going to be using an airbrush, and I'm bringing in some burgundy. This is a death burgundy, if you will. I also added a couple of veins around the neck, although ultimately my costume covered this. I had like this full Victorian blouse on, so it was kind of wasted in vain. So I went ahead and deepened the eye socket with a black eyeshadow, and then added a bit of shading around the bridge of the nose to make it appear more skull-like and sunken in. My next approach was to sketch in where I wanted my nose holes. I don't know what to call them. I've always called them nose holes in tutorials, so that's what they're called. Time to sketch in more of the design. I wanted to create a missing lip effect, kind of like rotted off lips, so I sketched in the shape around my lips. And next, to incorporate the transfers into my design, I connected them with lines to the mouth. I definitely approached this makeup like a painting, constantly moving around the face and working on different areas. And then I plotted out any other fake wounds to mimic the transfers. You can be really sketchy with this. As a matter of fact, I think the more sketchy it looks, the better and the more organic it looks. At this point, the underpainting is done, and it's time for a layer of Pale Dead airbrush. This will soften the design a bit and add those much needed highlights that we all love. With the black face paint, I redefined the design because you lose a lot of that with the airbrush. I definitely chose black because of the beautiful contrast that it gives. I know I was going to be photographing this with natural light, specifically the golden hour, and I wanted that contrast to be there because sometimes sunlight will really wash out darker colors. So by choosing a really stark contrast, I find that it gives me the results that I want in the camera. Again, much like a painting, it's time to tighten up the details, starting with the drawing in of the teeth. And of course, the decaying gums. Next, we're going to draw in those nose holes. We can't forget them, they're so important. And I'm going to add even more detailing to the transfers and the implied wounds. Time to get to shading. I'm going to be using a black eyeshadow to shade around the teeth. And what you want are the back teeth to recede, so you want to shade them to be darker than the front teeth. You also want to make sure to shade around the outer portion of the lip. The darker the area around the lip, the more it's going to look like it's receding and the lips have been ripped off. My friends, we are finally here. This is the most satisfying part of any makeup to me, and that's adding highlights. And I'm just using a cream highlight and just placing it wherever my heart desires. And the final step for me was blacking out the eyes even further. I used a black eyeliner and went into the waterline of both my top and bottom eyelids. And I ended up putting just black all over the eye, just making it as black as I could. I really like to do that because it intensifies my eyes when I open them, and I just look menacing and reapery. Okay everybody, thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for hitting that like button. Gonna be real honest with you, the more times you like my videos, the more videos I can make, and the more creepy I can bring to YouTube. And you do want the creepy, right? Anyway, hope to see you guys soon in another one, and happy Halloween!